Hi everyone. Today let's take a quick look at McCormick and their most recent earnings. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. So McCormick was up a lot yesterday. You can see almost 10% on the back of their earnings. And you can see they were actually up more than 10% during the day, and they reported an earnings of 63 cents per share and a revenue of 1.6 billion, which topped estimates at 58 cents and 1.56 billion. And revenue was up 3%. So not massive growth, but they did beat on the top and bottom line. And they did report operating income to grow by 8 to 10% over the next year, which is a very strong growth for a company like this. And this is not one of those super flashy tech companies, but it is a company that's putting in strong growth, and they do have a stable demand, more of a consumer staple, if you will. And let's see how they look on the charts. So looking at it on the charts here on the monthly view, you can see this is still a pretty good chart. It's been basically straight up here since October of 78. Obviously, there's been some really strong runs here into July of 92. Pulled back pretty substantially into September of 96, but overall the trend is still very bullish. There's been a lot of buying early in McCormick, but the thing that I want to highlight here on the monthly chart is you can see this bottom trend line held for a very long time, and then you can see it broke here in September of last year. Dipped all the way down to that 144 EMA. You can see we touched it basically to the penny, found some consolidation, and now we've had that really strong earnings report. This is still very much a downtrend. You got that 21-month EMA sitting at 78.17. Critical zone right there. We'll see if it can do it. And then looking at the MACD does look quite bullish, so this would give you a potential upswing over the coming months. Based on this, you should have about 4 months or so of some potential upswing, kind of like we got here. So you got to step down, and then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 months of upside after that move. And then that was eventually culminated with this bigger 3 months down. And now we are retesting those trends after hitting that longer term trend. And then moving down to the weekly chart here, you can see very much still a downtrend. We're in this structure, but this is showing some really solid strength. So on the weekly chart, we're definitely seeing some more bullishness. Got that push off of the 144, remember, from the monthly chart. Rallied up. Held support here at 68.50. That's an important level. Held that level, multiple tests there, got above the 21 and 9 EMAs into that earnings report, and then we had the really strong push up to that next EMA 55 at 76.29. So looks good, and you can see the momentum had been building for a while, finding strength, rallying into bullish territory, and it has been holding bullish territory. And then you can also see here on the RSI how oversold it was. Super oversold, got all the way down to a 20.76 level. And then we rallied pretty aggressively, held the retest of the SMA twice, and then rallied strong. So RSI showing lots of strength into that earnings report. Probably could have predicted that based on technicals. In terms of resistance, you do have some trend resistance up around my next level, 79.72, and it is down a little bit pre-market here, but I wouldn't consider that too important. You can see everything still looks pretty good here on the weekly. And then getting over to the daily, the shorter the time frame, the more bullish it looks. You can see clear consolidation, you can see clear highs, really strong breakout above that level. We're above all the EMAs and SMAs, momentum bullish, really strong volume over the last couple days. You can see the volume yesterday also very strong, and then the gap up here today also looking very strong. Got that resistance still like I talked about, and then you can see the longer term trend line sitting up here around 85, and then you have my level there at 85.88. So important zone right here, that would be the next one if this 79.72 level breaks. Super interesting chart actually. It is attempting to change trend, but still showing some weakness on the longer time frames in terms of trend. But in terms of levels breaking, you definitely have some opportunity. Current support would be 75.87, need that to hold, as well as the 200 SMA potentially down at 73.75. And then like I said, everything looks more bullish the shorter the time frame. You can see here holding above all the EMAs and SMAs for a little bit on the hourly chart, and then you can see we went parabolic here. We got above it on that Friday session, pretty much held those levels on the Monday session, and then overnight everything went ballistic. So looks very strong there on the shorter time frames. And then moving over to the Tasty charts, we'll go ahead and go in reverse order here, starting with the hourly chart. Again, everything's going to look super bullish, overthrowing all the ATR bands, well above all of the EMAs. Volume, super powerful as you would expect. Interestingly here, ATR stop at 75.57. We'll see if that holds. I would expect it to retest this at this point. It is super overbought. We're above all of the EMAs and ATRs, like I mentioned. So looking for a bounce down in that 75.50 area. And then looking at the 4 hour, again, super extended. ATR stops here at 73.35. So The risk is to the downside because it is so extended off of that earnings report. Might want to be patient, see if you can get at least a better entry, potentially down around that 8 EMA in the 75 zone. That would give you about a $2 better entry from current levels. Again, volume, MACD, everything still looks good in my opinion. And then daily chart, again, still really extended. This pretty much happens anytime that you're going to have such a strong move of 10% on a stock like this is pretty uncommon. But the more interesting thing here is as you start to zoom out, you can see how much selling was happening. We were hitting the lower ATR band, holding, lower ATR band, holding, and then again, massive breakdown here well below the third ATR band. Then you had a bit of a double bottom here on the daily chart. You see that double bottom, strong volume coming through on that selling. And then you can see one really strong candle on this bull run, and that has sustained this short-term rally. You can see we're all well above all the ATRs, and if you are a medium to longer term trader, the ATR stop here is all the way down at the previous ATR stop is all the way down at 65.66, and you can see it did jump up here to 70.30, which is your 144 EMA on these charts. And then looking at the weekly chart, you can see we did hit that 55 EMA, 89 EMA on this chart. Momentum bullish, volume coming through as you would expect. We did take out the ATRs on the weekly chart, so this was a bearish trend. Makes sense. You can see all of that selling coming through. ATR stops was taken out. We hit that upper ATR band, which is what tells me we'll probably see a little bit of sideways chop at least. And then again, for your medium to long-term traders, the ATR stop on the weekly is all the way down at 64. So I would be patient. That is a lot of risk if you're buying up at the highs here at 77 and then your stop is all the way down here at 64. So just make sure you have a good risk reward or you're willing to hold this for a really long time potentially. And then getting over here to the monthly chart, you can see that 144 EMA. It's actually a little bit higher on this chart. ATRs on the monthly still weak, showing bearishness, and you can see on the monthly we are back into the middle of the range, and we've done this a few times. Bounced here from the 89, hit the middle, retested the 89, back to the middle, and then on this most recent dip held the 144. Strong volume on that candle. Now we're coming through, and if this were to rally, you start to hit those ATR bands, and you can see those here at 86.75. Next one would be at 95.34, and then that third monthly ATR all the way up at 103.94, and that's really why you would have to be trading this. And we've seen that a few times. Hit that upper ATR band, pull back, hit that second ATR band. You'd really be trading this to try to get to that second ATR band, in my opinion, and those ATR stops in that 93 to 95 range. But again, you need to make sure that you have proper stops and proper risk reward, and understand that if you are trading the monthly chart, that means that you need to be willing to hold this for months, and just be careful because there is so much potential downside risk to those stops if you're trading the longer time frames. And then moving over to the options chain, this is really not a good stock for options, but we'll talk about it here just briefly. You can see prior to the open, we had a 75 option for about 70 cents. So looking at a 1% return or so on that. And this is over 23 days. So that's not a great return. If you're trying to trade this, it seems better to hold the shares or potentially sell the covered call. If you're willing to hold it for almost 2 months, you could sell the 80 covered call for 35 cents. That would give you at least a little bit of protection, while still giving you a pretty solid opportunity to the upside. You can see it's trading in that 77 range like we saw. So that would give you $3 of potential upside plus the dollar. So about $4 or so, or a 5% move over the coming months, which is fairly solid. Again, it's not a great options stock, and I'm not sure I would trade the options on it if I was interested. Really, you'd be playing for that pretty rapid move into that 90 to 95 area, and then I'd be looking to exit. You could sell the options up there, but again, you're getting a very small return. But if you're willing to sell it at 90, it's an extra 20 bucks. Take it or leave it. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of McCormick or videos like this. I used to do fairly deeper dives on individual stocks when they had news announcements. Definitely let me know if you like that style of content and a deeper look at these charts. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.